Good morning, students. Welcome here in this video tutorial. As you all of you know that we are discussing our chapter number 2 inside our earth from your geography. As you know, this chapter is related to about interior of the earth. In previous video tutorial we have already discussed about the which things interior of the earth, crust, mantle, core. Okay, so uppermost layer over the earth's surface is called the crust. Then we studied about mantle also. Just which thing beneath the crust is the mantle, okay, which extend up to a depth of 2900 kilometer below the crust. And what about the innermost layer? Innermost layer is the core with a radius of about 3500 kilometer. Now let's come here our next topic, or you can say that in chapter inside our earth. This is your video lecture number 2. So this video first we will discuss about the rocks. You know, if we talk about the earth crust, so it is made up of different types of rocks. जो आपकी अर्थ क्रस्ट है वो किससे बनी हुई है? डिफरेंट और वेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ रॉक. रॉक इज मेड अप ऑफ वन और मोर मिनरल्स. ओके, आपकी जो रॉक है वो वन और मोर मिनरल्स से बनी हुई है. सो हियर द वन अगेन, व्हाट डू यू अंडरस्टैंड बाय रॉक्स? So in simple terms we can define as any natural mass of mineral matter. Which mass? Natural mass. जो भी आपका natural mass है of which thing? Mineral matter that make up the earth crust. Which thing it makes? Yes, it makes up the earth crust is called a rock. So what do you understand by rock? Any natural mass of mineral water that makes up the which thing? Earth crust is called a rock. You know, earth can be of rocks can be of different color, different size and different texture also. Which thing? Some of have some different color, some of have different size and some of different texture. So according to types of rocks or based on their mode of formation. Which thing? Here we can study, as you can see here also, types of rocks. So based on which thing? Based on their mode of formation. We can divide it into 3 types of rock. So there are 3 major types of rock. How many major types of rock? There are 3 major types of rock. The first one is igneous rock, then sedimentary rock, and then metamorphic rocks. So which are the 3 types of rocks? Igneous, sedimentary, metamorphic. First we will discuss about the igneous rock. Which rock? Igneous rock. Igneous. First we will discuss Latin word. Okay, which word? Latin word. And igneous mean fire. Okay. So igneous rocks are formed. When igneous rocks are formed? Out of magma and lava. Which thing? Magma and lava from the interior of the earth. Which thing? From the interior of the earth. When the molten magma cools, it becomes solid. जो आपका molten magma है वो cool होता है, then वो it becomes solid. Then rocks thus formed are called igneous rock. Which rocks are known as igneous rock? Or what do you understand by igneous rock? Igneous rock is that kind of rock when the molten magma comes on Earth's surface. From where molten magma comes? Molten magma comes on Earth's surface and it cools down and becomes solid. They are also called primary rocks. Which are also called? Igneous rocks are also called primary rocks. Example, granite and basalt. And which are the examples of primary or igneous rock? Granite and basalt. You know, if we talk about the igneous rock, it can be also characterized into 2 of types. How many types? There are 2 types of igneous rock. The first one is intrusive igneous rocks and the second one is extrusive igneous rock. Which are the 2 types of igneous rock? Intrusive igneous rocks and extrusive igneous rocks. More clearly you can understand the type of igneous rock, or what do you understand by igneous rocks here? Just look at here, the first picture, as you can see, it is volcanic eruption. Okay, which eruption? Volcanic eruption when molten magma comes on Earth's surface. Molten magma आपका कहाँ आता है? Earth's surface. Then look at the next one, second one picture. Magma cools down on Earth's surface and solidifies. देखिए आपका magma cool down हो गया और आपका क्या हो रहा है? Surface पे, Earth surface और solidify. Then it becomes, just as you can see, formation of igneous rock. लावा इज एक्चुअली फायरली रेड मॉल्टन मैग्मा. लावा आपका क्या है? एक फायरली रेड मॉल्टन मैग्मा है कमिंग आउट फ्रॉम द इंटीरियर ऑफ द अर्थ. वेयर? यस, कमिंग आउट फ्रॉम द इंटीरियर ऑफ द अर्थ ऑन इट्स सरफेस. Got it, beta? Now first we will talk about the extrusive igneous rock. Just look at here. So when this molten lava, which thing? When this molten lava comes on the Earth's surface, it rapidly cools down and becomes solid. So when igneous rocks form, when the molten lava comes on the Earth's surface and rapidly, कैसे हो जाता है वो? एकदम rapidly cools down होता है, एकदम जल्दी. Then cools down on Earth's surface. So this types of which thing? Rocks are called extrusive igneous rock. Okay, very fine grained structure. What about igneous rock? They have a very fine grained structure. For example, basalt. Which examples of extrusive rock? Basalt. Then sudden cooling on the earth's surface. Sudden एकदम cooling हो जाती है, rapidly cooling. Example is basalt. Deccan Plateau is made up of basalt rock. Okay, which rock? Deccan Plateau is made up of basalt rock. Now let's come here. Intrusive. Sometime what happened? Sometime the molten magma cools down deep inside the earth crust. Just look at the difference between here. Cool down also here, cool down here also, but it cools down rapidly and on earth's surface. And here if we talk about the intrusive, here as you can see, sometime the molten magma cools down deep inside. Both have difference. It is from earth's surface and it is on deep inside the. Then solid rocks so formed. जब आपका डीप इनसाइड में आपकी मॉल्टन मैग्मा कूल हो जाती है, सॉलिड रॉक फॉर्म आर कॉल्ड इंट्रूसिव इग्निशियस रॉक. So which thing? Intrusive igneous rock. Just like large grains, since they cool down slowly, it takes some time also. Example, granite. Grinding stone is made from granite. What is example of intrusive igneous rock? Granite. More clearly, just look at the diagram also here. As you can see, it is a magma chamber, volcanic eruption as you can see. So extrusive igneous rocks are cooled quickly. Just here, cool quickly. As a result, they are fine grained or have a lack of crystal growth. And magma chamber here as you can see. So intrusive igneous rocks are formed from magma then cooled slowly. And as a result, these rocks are coarse grained. Now student, let's come here. The next topic, the next one is sedimentary rock. So Latin word sedimentum, it means settle down. Okay, what is the meaning of sedimental Latin word? It means settle down. So, if we talk about the rocks, just like igneous, sedimentary and metamorphic, roll down, crack and hit each other and are broken down into small fragments called sediments. Roll down होते हैं, crack होते हैं, एक दूसरे को hit करते हैं and then small broken down into which thing? Into small fragment are called sediments. So when these sediments are transported and deposited by which sediments? Yes, those sediments which roll down, crack and heat each other and are broken down into small fragments. What it called? It called sediments. And when these sediments are transported and deposited by wind, water, etc., then these loose sediments are compressed and hardened to form layers of rock. क्या बनाते हैं ये sediments? Compressed होते हैं and what it form? It form layers of rock. These types of rocks are sedimentary rocks. Got it? These rocks may also contain fossil of plants. Which we think sedimentary rocks contain? Sedimentary rocks contains fossils of plants, animals, and other microorganisms that once lived on them. So, which was things just like fossils of plants, animals, and other microorganisms. Unko also contain which type of sedimentary rock? What are the examples of sedimentary rocks? Sandstone, limestone, and shale. More clearly, you can understand with the help of this flow chart also. As you know, rocks, igneous, metamorphic and sedimentary. But क्या होती है उनकी weathering? Then what about sedimenting? Then transportation with the help of which thing? Wind and water. Then deposition of layer. Then compaction and cementation. And what it makes? Sedimentary rocks. Just look at the diagram also. One of sedimentary rock, due to successive deposition, they have a layered or stratified structure. Layer of layer. Okay, आपकी layer और layer होती है इसकी, क्योंकि fossils of plant, animals and other microorganisms जो उसमें live करते हैं, उनकी वो live of them, उनके fossils it also contain. Now student, look at here. The next one is metamorphic rocks. Greek word, which thing? Which word? Greek word metamorphos, meaning change of form. What is the meaning? Change of form. So, as all of you know that how igneous rock formed and how sedimentary rock formed. So, when igneous and sedimentary rocks can change into metamorphic rocks under great heat and pressure. Which thing? Under great heat and pressure. For example, you can take an example of clay also. Clay changes into slate and limestone into marble. And when metamorphosis occurs, when rock comes in contact with molten magma, then rocks are formed down to lower level by tectonic processes. Underlying rocks are subjected to great pressure by overlaying rocks. An example, marble and granite also. Just look at the flow chart of also here, igneous and sedimentary rock here. So due to high heat and pressure, what it becomes? It becomes metamorphic rock. Just like if you talk about the first granite is igneous rock. When due to high heat and pressure, it becomes granite, metamorphic rock. Same as limestone, we can take an example of another sedimentary rock. But due to high heat and pressure, what it becomes? It becomes marble, and marble is a metamorphic rock. If we talk about the rocks, rocks are very useful to us. The rocks, which rocks? The hard rocks are used for making roads, houses and buildings. आपको पता है आपकी जो hard rock है किस किस के लिए used होती है? For making rocks, houses and buildings. Even you use stones in many games. For example, 7 stones. Have you seen Pittu 4? Yeah. Hopscotch, Tapu Kit, 5 stone, Gitti. And two picture as you can see here also, the red fort is made up of red sandstone. जो आपका ये hard rock है, कौन सी hard rock है? Red sandstone. So red fort आपका किसका बना है? Red fort is made up of which thing? Red sandstone. And if you talk about the Taj Mahal, all of you know about the Taj Mahal. Yes, the Taj Mahal is made up of white marble. Now student, let's come here. We will learn about the rock cycle. Rocks do not remain in their original form for long. Rocks जो है आपके original form में for long नहीं रहते, but may undergo transformation. Rock cycle is a continuous process. It is a continuous process through which old rocks are transported in new one. Due to rock cycle, so as you all of you know, it is a continuous process through which things happen. Old rocks are transformed into new one. जो आपकी old rocks है वो किस में transformed होती है? New one में. So this process of transformation of the rock, which process? This process of transformation of the rock from one to another, from one rock to another, which thing, like old rocks are transformed into new one. So what it is known as the rock cycle. So what do you understand by rock cycle here? The process, which process? The process of transformation of the rock from one to another is known as the rock cycle. So due to one type of rock changes to another type under certain conditions in a cyclic manner. Just like a cyclic manner, one type of rock can also change another type of, because of some conditions also. So it happens in a cyclic manner. Look at the diagram here also, rock cycle. You have to draw it in your notebook also. Rock cycle from page number 9 of chapter 2, rock cycle. Here, as you all of you know that you have already learned, when the molten magma cools, it solidifies and to become igneous rock. जब आपका molten magma cool होता है तो वो क्या बनता है आपका igneous rock. Then after this, which things? These igneous rocks are broken down into small particles, and which things? Yes, these igneous rocks are broken down into small particles that are transported and deposited to form sedimentary rocks. पता है आपको deposit होगा वो transport होगा with the help of wind. Okay, and what it makes? Sedimentary rock, just like layer and layer also. When the igneous and sedimentary, which rock? When the igneous and sedimentary rocks are subjected to heat and pressure, क्या पड़ता है इन पे? Igneous rock and sedimentary rock पे, yes, subjected to heat and pressure, they change into metamorphic rocks. Which thing is changed? They change into metamorphic rock. Then the metamorphic rocks, which are still under great heat and pressure, melt down to form molten magma. This molten magma again can cools down and solidify into igneous rock. It process cyclic manner. ये प्रोसेस आपकी जो रॉक साइकिल है ये एक साइक्लिक मैनर में, इग्निशियल रॉक देन सेडिमेंट्री हुई, वो ब्रेकन डाउन, व्हाट इट मेक, सेडिमेंट्री बनी आपकी, देन अंडर ग्रेट हीट एंड प्रेशर से मेटामॉर्फिक बनी आपकी, देन आफ्टर दिस अगेन वो कूल्स हुआ, ग्रेट हीट एंड देन मॉल्टन मैग्मा बना, देन अगेन उसका वो हुआ इस प्रोसेस में. So just read this one also. This one is very important also. When the molten magma cools, as we all know that it solidifies to become igneous. Then igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks or metamorphic rocks are broken down into small particles that are transported and deposited to form which rock? Sedimentary. Then when the igneous sedimentary rocks are subjected to under which thing? Heat and pressure, they change into metamorphic rocks. Which rocks? Metamorphic rocks. Then the metamorphic rocks which are still under already, which thing? Still under great heat and pressure, melt down to form molten magma, and again molten magma again cool down and solidify into igneous rock. Cyclic manner, you can say that. The last topic, student, it is mineral. Rocks are made up of different minerals. Okay, minerals are naturally occurring substance. What do you understand by minerals? Okay, minerals are naturally occurring substance. Which substance? Naturally occurring substance which have certain physical properties and definite chemical composition. And you know what? Minerals are very important to humankind. Some are used as fuels. For example, coal, natural gas and petroleum. So got it? Minerals are very important. Yes, minerals are very important to us also. Every humankind also, minerals are very important. And what are the uses? If we talk about the uses, some are used as fuels, just like coal, natural gas and petroleum. And some are used in industries also. Some are used in industries also, just like iron, aluminium, gold, uranium, etc. So these are the uses of the minerals which we are using. Yes, every human being, you can say that, for making buildings, roads and all these things we are using these minerals. Some are used as fuels, as coal, natural gas and petroleum. We must know about the importance of coal, natural gas and petroleum. All of you know about it. And what about some which were used in industries also, just like iron, yes, then aluminum, then gold, then uranium, etc. Student, in medicine also, in fertilizers, etc., also we used some rare minerals. So student, for today that's it. Thank you all of you. Have a nice day ahead.